there, Colton. It is Jay Obertans. Good afternoon. So I wanted to take a second to not only say thank you for your time, but also your consideration as well. I know we've been kind of Facebook messaging a little bit here just a few seconds ago, but I'll go ahead and give you a call this afternoon so we can discuss things a little bit more in depth. And that way you sort of have a better understanding of not only the whole process, but some different areas that we can kind of look into to figure out the best route as well. More importantly, I thought I'd make you a video here of the sport trim level, and that way you kind of get a little bit better up close with it, just kind of looking over some of its features and stuff, as I think you'll be very surprised on what is standard for the Mazda brand. I'm currently driving my 4th CX5, and there's a reason why I chose nothing else in the brand. It's pretty awesome. So just running over a few things, obviously 2018 Sport, you're going to see that you have sort of these darked out, almost spider-like wheels. They're 17-inch and a dark alloy finish. Now headlamps themselves, though I don't have them on because it would feel like a waste to try to show you how bright the headlights are in the light of Pittsburgh, which yes, I know I completely use light and Pittsburgh in a sentence together, which is a complete oxymoron. But your headlamps themselves are full LED, so very similar to like a BMW or a Lexus or an Audi at night that passed you and you're like thinking like, that asshole has the high beams on, but really they're just like these piercing bright blue headlamps. It's because they're LED. So standard lighting on the CX5, there is a mechanism inside, which I will show you, that based upon the terrain, you can actually self-aim and lower your light path to better see the road. And up behind the rear view mirror, you're going to see a smile. You're on candid camera. So that's a forward-looking camera. It's going to basically be scanning the road for 3 things in front of you, which are obstacles, pedestrians, or if you're kind of closing a distance too quickly. It's going to alert you to let you know, hey, this is a dangerous situation. You need to react, and then it will say, okay, I got to do it, and then slam on the brakes to prevent you from crashing. There is one thing with the Sport I am going to point out here towards the end of the video to show you the difference, as there is 2 Sport trim levels. So I want to keep in mind, or excuse me, I would like you to keep in mind that with that collision system I just mentioned, if it is 25 miles an hour or under that you are traveling, it can avoid the crash completely. If it is above 25 miles an hour, it is still going to apply the brakes, but you will not be able to stop in time. So you will still hit something, it'll lessen the impact. So 25 miles an hour under, complete stop. Above 25 miles an hour, impact, but greatly reduced. So keep that in mind. Likewise, you'll see the shark fin antenna, you'll have the rear lip spoiler, you'll have the dual exhaust pipes for the 2.5 liter Sky Active, which by the way hit Forbes number 4 of world production reliability engines. Everything does go out through all-wheel drive. I'm not a person to knock other brands, hashtag Subaru, but I'm just kidding. No, everyone thinks Subaru has a fantastic all-wheel drive system, which their symmetrical setup is very good, but many people don't realize that Mazda developed the symmetrical setup and sold the right to Subaru in the early 90s. So their all-wheel drive system, to me, is superior, but I suggest go out there and read the reviews and ratings, as you'll read the same thing here. So kind of onto the interior here. This is where things are going to be a dramatic departure, because Mazda's whole marketing is by 2020, they expect 1 in 4 shoppers buying Audi, Acura, and Infiniti are going to choose Mazda instead. So you can really get a gauge of the sort of segment that they're trying to compete in here in the market. So Sport, that you'll see, you'll have these fully kind of heavily bolstered out cloth seating. Very Audi style cabin, everything's clean, horizontal. You have a super large 7-inch touchscreen floating up front and center. But Colton, I gotta use the word touchscreen pretty loosely, because when the car is in motion, think BMW. Everything is going to be controlled via this sort of iDrive-like or joystick-like system behind the gear shifter for all the features and functions. Now, this vehicle just got off the truck, so there's no gas in it, hence you'll even notice there's no inspection stickers on it for pre-1 inspection. So as a result, I'm just going to light up the accessories to show you a couple things without burning gas and turning on the engine. So obviously, push-button start, you'll see that there is no key kind of associated with the car, just a fob here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the accessories. Light over there, light in that mirror, which is your blind spot monitoring. So that will kind of light up to let you know if someone's on the left or right side of the car while you're driving. Communication, all of your advanced Bluetooth, it'll even read out text messages while you're driving. And keep in mind that in coming mid-fall, Mazda's prediction is the middle of September. For a $199 fee, you can upgrade to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So luckily that will be available to you. Navigation is a la carte. If you decide to add navigation, it's super easy. You can get the GPS chip through parts, which is $360. However, I would suggest just waiting for the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto update. The reason being is it's cheaper. It's $199 versus $360. But more importantly, if you're going to be using this vehicle for Lyft and Uber, I assume that you use your phone for those. So if you are navigating from your phone, all of the navigation directions will kind of come up on this screen here. And that way you not only avoid the cost, but if you're using your phone anyway, you don't have to keep looking at your phone mounted somewhere. It's going to pull over right up to the screen here. Now, if I shift into reverse, obviously you have your high resolution backup camera with cross alert to give you an idea of what you might smack into and more. So again, there's a ton of features here. I'm going to go ahead and shut this one off here and grab the key. So this is the sport trim level. Now here is where things get a little kind of cool / crazy / complicated with the sport. But knowing me, I just want to make sure that you're aware of what your options are. So again, sport level as it comes. I'm going to point out one thing with the sport here is that you have a regular Mazda emblem in the front. It's just a regular emblem on the grille. You'll see my fingers go in and everything. I point that out because on the sport, for $625, you can add a package that they call the iActive Safety Package. I'm gonna look over this sport right here and you'll see it's the same. 17-inch wheels, this just happens to be white, but walking up to the front emblem, entirely different. This emblem isn't real, it's a cover. And the reason being is for $625, you can add what is called the iActive Safety Package. So what the iActive Safety Package does to the Sport is gives it a higher speed collision assist. Remember, I said 25 miles an hour under avoids it. Above 25 miles an hour just lessens the impact. On the iActive package, it's 80 miles an hour or under, it'll avoid it completely. So the beam path for the camera is longer down the road. With those headlights, they'll have light reading now and be able to turn on and off the high and low beams automatically for you. You're going to pick up lane keep assist, which means let's say that this line right here is the center and my shoe's the car. If you start veering over the lane, it's not only going to beep at you to get your attention, but it's going to move the steering wheel and steer you back into your intended lane. And then lastly, you're going to pick up a radar cruise with stop and go. And here's where things get kind of crazy. The car will sort of be able to modulate the gas and brake automatically to keep a distance in cruise mode, to which you can set. You have 5 distance presets, from sort of almost like a tailgate to where you're following the car very closely, or a long distance to where you're keeping a very safe distance behind. So it'll always give up speed to keep distance in cruise, but stop and go gives it the ability to drive itself in stop and go traffic, and that's where things get really crazy. It was a system designed by Mazda to help reduce driver stress in high traffic areas. So as a result, it's programmed to follow the car in front of you, meaning that if the car in front of you comes to a stop, your car is going to come to a stop. When it starts moving again, your car is going to start moving again and kind of always follow it at that distance that you set. So pretty cool. Now, last but not least, one thing I am going to point out with us here at work is not only do you get like this mess here, but more importantly is if you haven't done your research on sort of dealers and what they offer, it's something I always suggest, because there's a difference between best price and best deal. And I say that because we're the largest Mazda dealer in a 300-mile radius, which is pretty much why I've aged probably 10 years in the last 2 years. But as a result, one thing that we do differently that no other Mazda dealership does around us is all of your routine services are entirely lifetime free with our dealer group. So if you are using this car for Lyft and Uber, I'm sure you put quite a bit of miles on it. So keep in mind that every single oil change you will ever need, it is full synthetic on these SkyActiv engines, and every yearly inspection is covered entirely free for the life of the car. You'll never pay for a single one. Same way as you'll get credits through our oil supplier that will cover every single tire rotation and even buy you a set of wiper blades once a year. But more importantly is, again, if you are Uber and Lyfting quite often, you can't be without a car. So anytime that you're in for service, you always get a free loaner vehicle. So as a result, just use our car for the day when your car is in for service, plus it gets washed. So there's a lot of other perks like a lifetime engine warranty and even a 3-day return policy, which we can get into as well. But I just wanted to make you kind of a quick little video and give you a synopsis of not only myself, what the dealer group offers, but kind of what's available in the 18 Sport. So I appreciate it, Colton. I'm going to go ahead and upload it once I get back to my office, and then I'll see that I give you a call later this afternoon. Thank you once again.